Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a Halloween card to share with you using the Good Fright stamp set from Hello Bluebird. This one is a second entry for the current Hello Bluebird Halloween challenge. Now I already created one card and there I just created a Halloween card. Today I am actually using the color scheme that they gave. So in their challenges you have a theme, this time Halloween, and then they give you a color scheme with 4 colors. Now in this case it's purple, grayish, blackish, you also have green and orange. So those 4 colors I'm going to feature here today, and of course my fox is going to be, well, a brownish color, but kind of orangey reddish brown. Now only one image today. I'm going to create a clean and simple card, which are the cards that I prefer making. I'm going to have tons of white space, but I'm also going to have a really bright area on my background where I will feature this image on. So I first started coloring the image. Again, this is from the Good Fright from Hello Bluebird. I bought this last year when there was like the Black Friday sale, I think. And so far I didn't use it because, well, it arrived a few months later, so Halloween was already past. So this year I am really catching up with some of the stamp sets that I haven't featured yet, but there are so many adorable images in this set. I decided to go with the fox because I could do the band on the head with green, then the clothing with gray or black, and then I have some pumpkins to add the orange to. So I will feature 3 of the colors just on this image, and then the 4th one will be my background, the purple. So I'm coloring from darkest to lightest, and I'm trying to have my shadowing on the left side of my image. I'm trying to keep it like that throughout the image. Sometimes I forget about it and then my shadows are a bit everywhere, but that's alright. You don't necessarily need to have one area with shadows. That's all up to you. Just have fun with it. So I am going from darkest to lightest. That's the way that I prefer coloring. But as I said in the past, there are many ways to color with your Copic markers. Truly, you do you. Have fun coloring. Liking the end result is all that matters. Those 2 items, as long as you're doing that, then that is fabulous. So I'm also adding a second layer. This paper is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper, which is my favorite paper to color with Copics. It's not that water friendly, so I wouldn't suggest watercoloring on it. But for Copics it works great. I really love using it, but I most of the time need to add 2 layers to get that blend that I want or the depth that I want. So here for the orange I went with one that I sort of came across with the autumn kind of vibe cards that I created. It's the yellow, red 27, 24 and 21, and it's a really soft but again outspoken orange, which I really love. You can go brighter if you want to, but if you want a more muted orange combination, I would definitely suggest this one. Next up, I'm taking the matching die and I'm going to die cut this image, and then we can start on the background. For the background, I took an A2 sized panel and I'm going to mask off my stitching details on the edges, which is something that I like to do. Now originally I wanted to create an area in the center of my card, but in the end I switched to having it higher up. So I'm going to cover the stitching details on the top part of this panel, and then I decided to tear my purple tape a bit and create a bit of grounding that way. You can also just tear a piece of printer paper, really cheap thin paper, that works great as well, but I wanted to try it with my purple tape, which is definitely also an option if you want it to be adhered on top of the panel where you will go to the inblending. Why tearing? Well, you don't need to. You can definitely go for a straight line. But I decided to tear it because Halloween and a bit rougher, and I just wanted my edge to be a bit more rough than a standard kind of, well, panel. Also, my tearing was a bit wonky, and that's perfectly fine, but it was just going a bit too much on an angle, so I decided to add a second hair piece, well, the other side actually of that purple tape, to just make it a bit more balanced. And then I took my distress inks. So I am going to create a purple background. I'm using my favorite purple combination. It will go really dark. This one is the Seedless Preserves, Dusty Concord, and Black Soot combination, and I really love this. I also love it to create a night sky panel, what I actually did with the other entry for this challenge. There I created a purple monochrome card, so if you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out. There I did a moon with purples and a really intense black night sky background. Next up, I needed to add my sentiment, so I'm just going to lay everything out, and then I will get this panel to my Misty to stamp it out, do some white heat embossing. Now, every time that you're ink blending, you need to take into account that the ink stays a bit wet. It might not appear like that, but truly it is still wet. You can always, before heat embossing, try out whether your embossing powder is sticking on top of the area. I know that it will, so I just use my heat gun, heat set this panel, and then before adding the sentiment, I will also prep it with some anti-static powder, which is a really life-saving thing when doing heat embossing. So you can do this all over the panel. I just made sure to really have the areas of the sentiment, and then I could stamp it out with some Versamark clear embossing ink. This ink stays wet a bit longer than regular ink, so you have some time to add that embossing powder. Mine is the white embossing powder from Ranger, the super fine detail, and then I can heat set everything. Now, once that has set for a bit, you can buff off the excess of the anti-static powder. I will do that once I have added my paint here, and you can see now that purple is really coming through again, which is great. Now I'm going to splatter this purple area with white gouache just to represent some stars. If you're making a wintry card, I use that to represent snow, and then you can also do it on top of your critters. If you want to, you don't need to, but you can. But for the stars, I try to protect the image because stars are most of the time only in the sky and not in front of critters. So I just made sure to add tons of thin foam squares on the back of my fox here, and then I actually have my panel ready. I'm going to adhere it to a card base, and I also ended up using some Stickles and Glossy accents. Stickles on top of the green area, Glossy accents on top of the pumpkins to really let them pop. And that is my card for today. It is a really simple card, and it's an easy card to recreate with your favorite critters, with your favorite background colors if you don't like the purple or you want to try something else. Truly tons of fun. Again, if you don't want to tear your purple tape, you can use just some printer paper and you will have this wonky tear effect as well. I truly enjoyed creating this card, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that I could inspire you. Don't forget there is still a bit of time to participate on the Hello Bluebird challenge, and I cannot wait to see what you create. Bye!